Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Well, here we are in the East St. Paul Arena. A nice outside shot, taking an overhead drone shot on a nice hoar-frosty day. A beautiful winter day in southern Manitoba. And we're going to draw number 3 of the Manitoba Scotties Tournament of Hearts, presented by Rocky Mountain Equipment. Our game today, Caitlin Laws, number 1 seed in the competition, playing Robin Negevin. Oh, Robin Negevin is the 5th. Beth Peterson is in fact the skip. That may be the only time that Robin gets credit as the for the team name, but it is Beth Peterson of Assiniboine Memorial playing Fort Rouge's Caitlin Laws. And the team lineup, the return to Manitoba Scotties competition of the legendary, and I don't think it's inappropriate to call Jill Officer legendary, a Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame member multiple times as an individual and with teams, an Olympian, an Olympic gold medalist, and subbing in at second. Selena Negevin is with the team but will not be playing this week. Jill will play second. Jocelyn Peterson moves to third. Kristen McCush is at lead for the Fort Rouge team. For the Assiniboine Memorial team, Alyssa Gordon at lead, Catherine Dirksen at second, Jenna Loader, and Beth Peterson. So Barry Gorlick alongside me. My name is Resby Coots, and we will bring you the action and a little bit of explanation. And as we said, throughout the junior competition, our color commentators will also include the 8 women on the ice. The microphone feed from ice level, frankly, quite remarkable, and provides a better insight into what the teams are thinking, especially in those tight situations when we get into what weight do we want, what's our strategy going to be. So Barry Gorlick, welcome back. We got along okay the first game. You decided you'd rejoin.
Happy to be back, Resby. Were it not for your reputation which precedes you, I might have thought twice about it, but no, I'm more than pleased to be here. And this is a significant matchup of broad, deep experience for both teams as youth curlers, but the age gap being the only difference, in the sense that now in their mid-30s, the members of the Laws team have been on the pro circuit for many years. The Peterson team has dip their toe in rather deeply at the Scotties in the Calgary bubble, for example, but they're up and comers, and they can all make all kinds of shots all the time.
We do anticipate seeing a high skill game in this game, and the game started with the first shot of the end, Barry, with the LAWES team placing the guard, the center guard, touching the center line 3-4 feet in front of the rings. And the game is on from the first shot.
Without hammer, Caitlin Laws thought she would take advantage of the no-tick rule, which means that that yellow rock cannot be moved off the center line until the 6th rock is delivered. And rising perfectly to the challenge, Beth Peterson decided to go right around it. So with the 3rd rock coming down now, it's officially game on because we got 2 rocks in the 4-foot.
I'm prepared to say this is going to be fun.
Based on the first 3 stones, it's going to be lots of rocks in play, lots of potential big ends, and lots of important skip stones in order to either prevent that big end or to add to the pile. It's going to be fun. And the ice from the first 4 stones looks quick and with just enough curl to make it interesting. The brooms are being put at the edge of the 8-foot, and it looks as if the rocks are curling right to the center line, as that one just did. And so now we have 126 pounds of granite lined up and only 4 rocks in.
Both teams won their opening game earlier today. LAWES, what I have come to refer to simply as a short game victory. And then the Peterson team playing the veteran Darcy Robertson up 6-5 coming home. Robertson had a shot, a difficult hit and roll, didn't make it, and so a 7-5 final score in that game. So both teams at 1-1.
Really hard. Okay.
If anyone were worried about legendary Jill Officer having any rust,
That's good.
you won't have to worry, folks, because she threw that right up the stick. Her weight was perfect, and the only thing that didn't work for the team was that she maybe needed a little bit more ice.
Yeah. You're moving 2 rocks, so yeah.
So playing the 6th rock of the end, the 3rd stone, the second stone for Team Peterson, delivered by Catherine Dirksen. We have all of the rocks still in play. This one is going to move some granite. She throws a bit of weight. She wants to curl just up tight to that guard, but she will rub it. No issue with that because it was the 6th rock of the end.
And so a surprise to both Caitlin and the Peterson team, those last 2 stones definitely moved more than they expected. So we've got lots of curl already.
Jill Officer in the hack. She'll throw an intern hit. Arrow straight, you're right.
And Jill can throw up weight. Her lower body strength is at the top of the charts in the women's game, certainly.
I like that.
And it's effortless.
I don't mind the top yellow. Yeah, that's what I called. Try and kick this. I do too.
So we're going to see
like to
here
see it
the hit attempt.
Great at it, Kat.
This is 34-year-old Jenna Loader, and Caitlin's going to pay a lot of attention to Jenna's delivery, and
10.
that's because she knows it pretty well. In 2008 and 2009, Caitlin and Jenna formed part of the Canadian Junior Championship team that went on to the Worlds both years and won silver at the Worlds in 2009. So this probably applies elsewhere, but in Manitoba there are very few degrees of separation between curlers.
Yeah, and in that instance, the hit by Catherine Dirksen was an attempt to come right up the center line, hit the yellow first, come back to the red and push red across. Didn't quite work.
I kind of like
But great sweeping by Jenna Loader and her partner Melissa Gordon.
Speaking of degrees of separation, Melissa Gordon and Beth Peterson are cousins. Beth's father, Murray, and Melissa's father, Jack, coaching the team from time to time through the years.
No. Yep. Yes.
So this is Jocelyn Peterman, moved up to throw the third stones in this week. Jams some rocks around, but doesn't do the Caitlin Laws team a great deal of good there with one hit on the red here in the 12-foot circle, red bump onto yellow and roll behind the guard. Red is going to be lying 4.
That was an ouch.
Okay. Positive.
So now Jenna Loader's in the hack. She will throw the out-turn hit. Real snap curl to this. She's going to rub the yellow. Gets rid of a yellow rock and rubs them around in the middle, but yellow does continue to lie 1 and leaves a double kill now for the Laws team, possibly a triple kill.
Interestingly, when we covered the morning draw on the same sheet, there wasn't anything like this amount of movement down the center line this early in the game. So the ice is a little bit different, and the teams are going to have to get on top of it right away.
And to some extent that would be a maturing of the ice, but it would also be head ice tech Greg Owasco getting the information from the teams and saying that's not quite what we want.
Really nice draws.
And doing the things that ice makers do to get a little more curl in the ice.
Without repeating ourselves, we spoke of the fact that in each end there's an important shot or two. Jocelyn Peterson just made one of those important shots. This end is now turned right around from what looked like 4 stones lying in the rings alone to yellow lying 2.
I really like the throw. Yeah. And I kind of hadn't seen anything under curl, but it's first one from heel. I think if we...
Jenna Loader can roll a little bit to our right,
I think we could have
her left, or the bigger roll away across center. She's not going to come up to it enough. She will not take out her own. Yes, she will take out her own. Rolls in front of that Yellowstone. So huge turnaround in the end from those opening rounds. And I think characteristically we see that a fair bit at the elite level, and I'm prepared to say that both of these teams fit in the category of elite level. We see a lot of rocks in play, and then all of a sudden we don't see very many because they know when it's time to bail and the rocks just all disappear.
The other feature is in a provincial championship like this, as opposed to a slam event, for example, they have 10 ends to play in regulation. Those extra 2 ends mean that whatever happens in the first end is even less important than it ordinarily would be in a club game or in a slam game. Panic isn't a word that ever affects these teams, but the fact that there have been some disappointing outcomes from a few of the shots already in this game is something that the Peterson team won't even remember in the next end.
I think you can hit it early and then finish it at the end.
So Caitlin Laws is in the hack. I made the comment, Barry, on my Instagram, Facebook post last night that Caitlin is not going to be subject to a lot of nerves, but there's got to be a lot of comfort sitting in the hack and looking up and seeing Jill Officer beside her as one of her sweepers.
As co-Olympians, the 2 of them have done it all, seen it all, felt it all emotionally. But the fact that Jill is such a tremendous judge of weight, such a strong sweeper, and such a long-time confidant means that it just has to literally put a smile on Caitlin's face.
I thought that was not
Something else that puts a smile on her face is the fact that as I was walking in, I had a pleasant chat with Caitlin's mom, Cheryl, and we commiserated about the fact that new Grandma Cheryl is spending a certain amount of her time looking after baby Mila. Mila Joy is the full name. And if Caitlin ever worries about the fact that curling's important and most important, all she has to do is look in her baby's eyes, and that perspective comes right back.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Laws draw is deep in the rings, biting the back of the forefoot. Better than being a little high and leaving it as a potential double kill. So right at this moment in time, the Laws team can fairly say that they can be thinking about a force.
Line's good. Where? Room. Room. Whoa. Gotta curl. Always Melissa. Gotta curl. Freeze the back. Line's good. Line's good. Make it good. Line's straight. Straight.
Well, she comes to the back of the button. Wanted to get a freeze to the nose of it. But an interesting placement in that a yellow rock which moves that red one very far is going to be set for a double hit to hit and roll over to the other yellow and tap it. So pretty significant amount of caution needed in final placement here.
Based on the placement of the broom, Caitlin's thought is reducing her margin of error equates to throwing big weight at this one.
And just pick it.
And
we could draw, but if I ever bounce off, then there's a triple for 3. So firm.
So you heard Caitlin's analysis there, and so she is throwing the big weight. She wants to pick the red one. She wants to just tick the side of it, push it out the side of the rings, roll away, and leave the 2 yellows as first and second shot rock.
there's Jill Officer doing her magic, really leaning on it, trying to hold it straight.
Does pick it right out. So Peterson team is forced to draw for a single point.
Nice throw.
Which was the goal of the Laws team at the beginning when they didn't have hammer. Now the Laws team will have hammer in the second end, and at least theoretically have the hammer in even numbered ends right through to the 10th, which is exactly the way you want to play the numbers game in a curling game that's this close, having hammer as a last shot in the final end of the game.
The team we watched this morning, the Katie Lukowicz team, has started strong. A hit 4-2 on the opening end against Darcy Robertson. The other team we watched this morning, Chelsea Carey, also has started strong. A score of 2 on the opening end to lead 2-0 in that game. And our draw comes to the front of the rings, some sweeping. And they will bring it full into the forefoot, bite the button, and that's a single point for the Beth Peterson team. They take the first end 1-0 lead over Caitlin Laws. We'll be back with end number 2 from East St. Paul in just a moment.
Today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Where can you find handmade pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads,
the finest Manitoba-sourced fried chicken, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
I guess the lighting helps, eh?
We're back at the East St. Paul Arena, the Manitoba Scotties Turnout of Hearts, presented by Rocky Mountain Equipment. Beth Peterson facing two with her last stone on the opening end, makes no mistake, draws full to the button for the single point, wants to set up that center line guard, didn't quite get to the center line, but Caitlin ignores it anyway. She'll put up a corner guard.
So this is a classic start in attempting to get a multiple score by Caitlin, putting up a corner guard. Possibly we'll see her even put up a second corner guard, whether on the same side or opposite, and ultimately try to get at least one of her rocks buried in behind it, whether through a direct draw to that
Just
spot in the
halfway
8
high?
foot, or through hitting one of the Peterson rocks and rolling
Who's in
there.
line here? That's okay. Just a little soft. Just a little soft. Okay. Pretty soft.
The reference to that guard attempt being a little soft, Caitlin was actually referring to Kristen's release. A little bit light, but rolled off her fingers just enough on the in-turn to move further to the boards than she would have hoped. Still useful as a corner guard, though.
Just top 12.
Okay, we're gonna over curl. Just
Yeah.
fight, just fight as high as possible. No, not Jenna.
Oh boy, this is going to be fun, Resby. There's a ton of movement in this ice this afternoon compared to this morning. That rock came out the other side, essentially.
It did come out. It's not quite wide open, but certainly on ice with a bit of curl to it. This is completely accessible, and red rock to be removed, yellow rock to roll to the side, to the corner behind the yellow corner guard.
Weight's good.
Kristen LaCouche.
For anyone wondering why the game is called curling, that last shot explains
It
it.
does. And this
Finish it a bit.
hit
but- or no,
begins
go
to
straight,
curl
go straight,
nice as
go
it
big.
comes to the hog line. And they do get the big roll,
Good.
wide side roll, not quite buried.
Nice speed.
And most of the curl berry will be more or less hog line in, won't it?
Okay. Yeah,
That's the
right
way
on.
it seems, which is fantastic because it means there isn't a rock that can be placed in the rings that you can't at least get to. A single guard, in other words, won't do the job on ice like this. You have to try to find a way to have staggered,
High, gotta go.
paired guards either down the center or on the side.
Catherine Dirksen with the hit.
Yeah.
Curls a little too much. Well, they're going to have to take some time to learn just exactly the combination of
On the
weight
14 side?
and curl.
A little bit more than.
Jill Officer.
Hey, line's good. Top 12 if you can. Gotta work a bit. Right now. Okay, Kristen. Line's good. Line's great. Top 8. Top 12. Really curling now. Just top 12. Top 12. Curl if anything.
Now we're a little past your broom.
Okay. Yeah, go, go, go. Yeah, get it in
And
there,
this
get
one
it over
does
there. Yeah. Hard.
Bury completely,
Really nice.
peeks
go.
out the other side again, but when that far out to the wings,
That really curled.
that's of no moment.
I like peeling.
It is fully buried.
No.
It's as if Jill never took a break from the game based on her first 3 shots of the game.
And with
Yep,
shot
yep,
number
yep,
6
yep,
of the end,
hide.
Catherine
Hide,
Dirksen
Liz.
is asked to
Hide,
remove that
hide,
corner
hide,
guard.
hide, Jenna. Go, Jenna, go, Jenna, go, 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 go.
Doesn't roll
That works. Good pressure.
away completely, but rolls off to the side to be pretty much
Can't really split the rings because it's hard to come off
of
that.
no
You
use.
can just come top 8 here.
It would be almost impossible to have a rock touching the rings and have it behind that red guard. So
Yeah,
to give our viewers a sense of how the ice is running, we'll take a hog-to-hog time on this outturn draw by Jill Officer.
Line's good.
And we note the ice started
Room if anything.
4
Line's
inches
good.
into the
Slow,
12-foot
curl.
to come to the
Always
center.
trust.
In fact, to over-curl the center to get behind the guard.
We're T.
Okay, go deep then. Go right back.
Go deep, go deep.
Just go,
14
go.
seconds dead.
Yep. Whoa.
Over there.
Yep. Right back. As far as you can. Good.
Sorry, Kristen, I didn't see that much.
Nice, Jojo.
Wow. That
She
really
overthrew
close.
that just a little bit, but it shows that the ice is running what these teams would consider to
Pretty
be
thin,
medium
Jenna.
quick.
That looks
And we can also say from that, even though it did go
I like
deep,
the hit and roll. Yep.
easily 2 feet more ice taken on that draw than what we saw here early in the day. Third Jenna Loader,
Clean.
and she will play the
Yes!
hit in a big roll
Yep.
cross center if she
Whoa,
can make
whoa,
it.
whoa!
Play the double.
Whoa. Yep. Cat.
And
Sorry, Jenna.
does roll across, makes the contact.
I reacted way differently. Back over there.
Okay. So
That curled just a little bit too much at the end, Barry, to get the double.
Or not quite.
It surprised them. You heard them say that it reacted differently from some rocks they threw in the warm-up.
So this is Jocelyn Peterman.
line's good.
Line's good.
Okay, go back if you can.
And I think we probably should beg indulgence of our listeners, Barry, if from time to time we
It's all you.
conflate the Peterman and the
back.
Peterson
Yep.
names, when they jump into mind, that
Nice.
we might get the
Good
last
sweep.
syllable wrong.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will
I like the
give us
freeze,
a little bit of room to wiggle based
I mean,
on
the
the
guard
fact
is
that we
high.
are,
If I
as
take it
we've self-described ourselves this morning, more mature curlers.
Frankly, those who know me have never accused me of maturity. Jenna
Well, all
Loader-
right then. We are old, folks.
Jenna Loader with her second shot here in this end, facing a couple of yellow stones, the
Line's
LAWES stones
good.
deep in the rings. The intern side draw.
Line's good still. Line's great.
Hard cat.
Go, Cat.
And
Hard.
Barry,
go, go,
either
go, go,
the
go, go.
perfectly buried shot or deep to the other one, either's acceptable,
Good sweeping.
but didn't get either.
Neither. And so this now has the potential for a big end for Caitlin Laws. If Jocelyn Peterson can get a good half of this rock and make a soft roll to the 12-foot, the Laws team will be lying 3 with 2 possible doubles available, but by no means easy.
Yep. Hard. Yes. Hard.
So it is the Peterman delivery, the intern.
Gotta go.
She starts to curl up
Hard. Gotta roll it.
at
Hard,
risk
hard,
of
hard,
running
hard, hard.
into that red guard, and in fact does exactly that.
Good brush.
Fortunate in some ways not to have curled up a little bit more, otherwise could have pushed it into the rings.
Okay. Straw there, or what do you like? Hit. This won't give a second. I know. I don't hate this.
We're standing right behind the sheet. And so for the viewers at home, every one of the throws we've seen so far
Well, for here, that's
have
fine
been
too.
excellent. What's happening is
Here?
the ice reading at the moment is a little bit
Okay.
confusing to both skippers.
I don't think I
It's
love
not.
the guard.
It's changed a wee bit, maybe since practice.
Yeah. Even as early as the second end, they've thrown so many rocks down this center path. The sharpness of the pebble can start to come down just enough, especially with the way they brush now, that they get some extra movement, and what we're seeing at the moment consistently is extra and to this point somewhat unexpected movement.
So this is Beth Peterson. She's throwing an in turn. She'll
Line's good.
try to get across center
Pulling.
over into the 8-foot at the tee line. Doesn't
Really
want
curling.
to leave Caitlin even a sniff
Hard
of a double
then.
kill because she does have the ability
be
to
there,
jump
hard
that
then.
rock a good distance across the ring.
Hard
So it's got to
then,
be
big.
either back so it'll jam on the yellow one,
Hard, hard,
or
hard.
it has
Okay,
to be
this one, yep.
even
Hard.
across in
Just
front of the
soft,
tee
eh?
line. But comes up
It looks easier.
short,
Yeah.
underthrown, a little short of the rings.
And again, still on the
Yeah, got a bit
issue
more
of the
room
amount
with
of
the-
curl in the ice, that rock was light, but counting
Yep.
from the center line, it moved
Okay.
nearly 5.5 feet to the right of the
Okay.
center line, plus the broom was 2 feet
Okay,
to the
I
left
like
of the
that.
center line. That looks an awful lot to me, Resby, like 7 or 7.5 feet of
7.5
curl.
feet of curl,
Yeah.
and that's, and of course that rock will be dying as it's curling, as it dying as it's curling those last curls.
In other words, that rock traveled probably 128 feet, even though the front part of that red ring is only 120 feet away. It took a long scenic route to its stopping point.
So Caitlin Laws, the opportunity now to come across the face of this red rock, roll over to the right.
Clean. Yep. Whoa. Clean. Whoa. Off. Whoa.
The opportunity to stay wide,
Whoa.
roll
Get
out to
in,
the
yep,
left.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Roll it, Kristen. Roll it.
And she does roll over and sit wide in the 12-foot circle.
That is textbook because the double across the house is uber risky. The double on the stone at the back of the rings is too shallow to make. And so what Beth Peterson is now trying to do is limit the damage by making a hit and roll to the middle, hoping beyond hope that if Caitlin comes down to remove the rock, it could jam on the yellow stone at the back of the 12-foot. Otherwise, this is looking like a 3-spot.
Out-turn hit. That's to get rid of one yellow stone, roll towards the center. They're not possible to roll back to the yellow one at the back of the rings, but try to get directly lined up on it so that Caitlin Laws, in making a hit attempt to push it past that back rock, is going to have to roll out.
Whoa. Whoa. Cat. Hit it thin. Hit it thin. Still hard.
Calls a
Hard.
sweep to hit it thin for the thin double.
Hard. Thinner than that.
And again, touches the stone, leaves it in play, spins the red out of the rings, and Caitlin Laws will open the scoring with a open draw for 3. One time we called these free draws, and yet they were made so they were made half the time quite often. So nothing free about it, but it is an open shot to the rings. Just has to touch 12-foot red ring to count a 3rd point.
For our viewers, regardless of your views on the new rage, which is sports betting, you will not want to bet against Caitlin making this draw.
Definitely less. Line's good. Line's good. Running a little. Running a little.
And the sign of the elite teams, they don't stand and watch this rock at all. They stay
14-4.
real close to it. They sweep it a little, they keep it clean. And they actually want to sweep it to the tee line or to show their skip what the situation was. And it was a draw to the back of the button. A score of 3 for Caitlin Laws as she takes a 3-1 lead over Beth Peterson. We'll be back with end number 3 in a moment.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSave. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game. Asham Curling Supply.
Superior fit, comfort, and performance. Asham curling shoes are the best we've ever used.
Hi folks, I'm Arnold Asham, and our product is always satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Asham Curling Supplies.
That's your best delivery of the day.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now, 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Back in the East St. Paul Arena, the Manitoba Scotties Tournament of Hearts, presented by Rocky Mountain Equipment.
Top 12.
A 3-1 lead for Caitlin Laws
Top 8.
as she takes on the younger Beth Peterson team, a quality team, but somewhat less experience at this competitive level. And there'll be times when that difference in experience will show.
Let's go.
As we look across, speaking of experience, Darcy Robertson gave up 2 in the first end to the junior team, skipped by Katie Lukowicz. Robertson scores 1 on the second, so that game is 2-1. Emma Jensen, another young team playing at the Scotties, and she gave up 2 to Chelsea Carey on the opening end, but scored 2 in the second. That would have been a big relief for the Jensen team, as they did not score in the afternoon game against Caitlin Laws. So we're going to have 3 interesting games here this afternoon. Laws with her first rock in the rings, and she'll now throw a guard.
And what's interesting with the 3-1 lead, Peterson already knows she has to try to take it to Caitlin and get multiple points with hammer now. So Caitlin purposely put her first one in the rings, knowing that Peterson would simply ignore it and throw up the corner guard, which she did. And now Caitlin can throw her next 2 stones, if given the opportunity, to try to build a wall of guards to protect her shot that's biting the forefoot.
This rock skidded across a good 1.5 feet in the last 1.5 feet of its run. As it died, it swooped over toward the center line, but does still leave that yellow stone half or more open. Second lead stone of the end.
Little firm. Little firm.
Need to sweep it to try to get it over to the center line. She's having some success. She makes contact with it, pushes it out of the back of the rings. An acknowledgement there from Beth Peterson that that was not a miss by the thrower, it was a miss by the skip. Jill Officer. This one curling up quite a bit. It's going to make contact, but it will roll out.
Okay, nice throw. 9.
Club curlers watching who've never played with rock sets this fine or on arena ice might be surprised at the amount of roll you get from a hit that is seemingly just a little bit off center, but that's the difference between ice that has a very lively surface, including in the painted rings, and in particular the striking bands on these rocks are narrow and they bounce unlike any club rock set that you'll ever play with, which adds to the fun.
Oh, it keeps every team on their toes. The mental strain by the end of a competition like this is huge.
Probably just drawing around the middle, I think. 15-2.
So Caitlin follows the Beth Peterson draw attempt. She attempted to draw between those two, but over-curled and rubbed the outside guard. And Caitlin has all the guards in play that she really needs to try to score a couple.
at the absolute minimum to force Beth Peterson with a well-placed rock here to have to take one.
Big curl as it crosses the hog line. This rock has swooped over 3 or 4 feet. Well over buried on that yellow guard in behind the red.
The only way to describe that is wow. This is fabulous arena style ice with big curl. No rock behind any single guard is even close to safe.
This one is behind too, with the intent for Catherine Dirksen is to run a red rock right in. Won't get the dead back contact, so splits it away.
Sorry, top 12? Full 8. Full 8. Okay. Okay.
So we look over, we see that very early in the game, William Lyburn has taken a timeout with his young team, the Lukowicz team. Had a chat with William before this game about his timeout call this morning, and he simply acknowledged that there's a point in every game where you simply have to go for it, and that was the time.
Line's perfect. Line's perfect.
So we see this draw again in that big swoop, and it will curl right in behind the yellow guard, cornered onto our own stone.
Really nice. Yeah. Perfect. Slow. Okay.
There is chaos in front of the rings, and Beth Peterson has to deal with it right now.
She'll try to run this yellow guard straight through, try to make contact on the yellows in the rings to move at least one of them out of there.
Curl.
And that one, as they say, is neither fish nor fowl. It didn't make contact with the yellows, and it didn't roll the guard away enough so that it is now a problem, and Caitlin will place a guard. She'd like to be across center, but perhaps touching the center line.
Oh, a little light. Line's good. Okay, just clean. Bit of room. Bit of room. Bit of room. Pistons rock. Got a curl. Okay. Yep. Yep, gotta go. Hard. Gotta go. Yeah, hard, Kristen, hard. That's good. Nice. Good sweep.
She might have liked to go another inch or two, but that's pretty effective guard. She's got to run it. And does run it through and pick one of those rocks out.
Like here? Yeah. Full 12? Yeah. Okay. So we're there.
The LAWES team certainly doesn't mind the Peterson team scoring one here to go into the next end one ahead, still with hammer. But what they don't want is there to be any possibility of Peterson getting multiple points or even blanking.
Well, with the one guard, the red guard, pretty much fully covering the shot stone, and with LAWES talking about drawing behind that red sitting in the front of the 12-foot, and they are working at making sure that the force is on. We'll see this cross the hog line about 2 to 2.5 feet from the center line, and then it should swoop to point well across the center line.
Hard curl.
A little deeper than she wanted, but nicely frozen. Very difficult to remove them both.
But this is just lined up for her too, no?
To remind you that there is a red guard halfway out to the hog line. There you see it.
They're not touching.
And that red guard is just enough in Beth Peterson's line of sight to really affect the way in which she has to place the broom and even the amount of weight she can throw.
So
she's not trying.
her call here, I think, is potentially what you might call a turning point call. She's going to try to draw past the two yellows to the back of the forefoot to be buried behind the two yellows, using the two yellows in the 8-foot circle as guards.
Do not try this at home, folks. This is a very tough shot this early in the game with ice that is moving this much.
But to make this call, you need ice that's making this, that's curling this much. So here it comes. It is Beth Peterson's first shot of the end. Peterson does have last rock.
Line's good. See if you can. Whoa, room, running.
Tons of room. There it goes.
So she's
Still running.
a foot wider at the hog line than the rocks we'd seen cross.
Okay, you can go.
And now here it comes.
Really
It starts to
curling now.
dive as it comes to the center line.
14-4. Yep, hard, Melissa. Hard. Go, little more.
And she places it almost perfectly where she wanted to. It peeks out a little bit, but an excellent draw.
Yeah, good brush.
In this instance, you'd say simply not good enough. It had to be over another 6 to 8 inches to force Caitlin Laws to draw.
Make it go. Go over just a
And
hair more, but
John Morris
over
once
just a hair
nicknamed
more, but I think that same throw is
his
good.
mixed doubles partner after winning Olympic gold, Mighty Mouse. That has a whole bunch of background, but one piece of it is this. In a very small package, Caitlin can throw a rock as hard and as accurately as anybody. And you're about to see it right now.
Clean, yep.
It is
Whoa, clean.
the in-turn hit,
Clean.
coming straight down the ice on the center line, makes the contact, spills it out, and Peterson will now have to draw to the 4-foot circle, again facing two. Again, the Laws team has forced Peterson to a single, if she can make the draw.
And they're doing more than that. They're actually not making it at all easy on the Peterson team. And as Resby alluded to earlier, even this early in the Bonspiel, some of the emotional and intellectual energy gets used up during ends such as this.
Line's good.
Draws underway. Sweepers, Melissa Gordon, Catherine
Line's
Dirksen.
holding. Hard cut. 14-7. Hard. Gotta be in the 4. Good brush.
And she will draw to the button, covers the pinhole. So again, forced 2 singles now for the Peterson team. A 3 for Laws on the second end. Laws leads 3-2 going to the 4th end. We'll have that 4th end in a moment.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Curling, brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
When life gets busy, getting everything done can be tough. With PharmaSafe's mobile prescription service, order your prescriptions right from your phone so they're ready when you are. Download the PharmaSafe app today.
Live well with PharmaSafe.
Well, we're back in the East St. Paul Arena. First rock of the end is on its way down the ice. It's an attempt to get that center guard. Again, it doesn't sit on the center line. It crosses by 6 inches or so. And Caitlin Laws says, let's go behind it.
So for those of our viewers who are sitting anxiously on the edge of their sofas, wanting us to describe one more time the no-take rule and its potential impact, you're going to have to wait another end, folks, because they missed the center line. The call was to place that red stone right on the center line.
Line's great, top 8. Bit of room, but just go for speed. Yeah, just go for speed. Okay.
So Laws throws that rock. It's intended to curl behind. In fact, it bites the top of the rings, and the Peterson team will remove it. They don't need a rock sitting there getting in their way.
10-5.
The interesting difference in this end if that rock comes an inch short.
Yep.
That's why they brushed it so hard.
Okay, sorry, that was me.
Rock rubs and rolls over wide open, and Caitlin will play Kristen McCush an outturn hit. Try to hit and roll over behind the guard.
Clean. 10.5. Okay, yeah. Clean. Whoa. Curl.
Barry, it's interesting to me that with hammer, Caitlin Laws is very deliberately forcing play into the center of the rings.
Yes. She knows that Beth Peterson seems to have her draw weight in her pocket, and Caitlin is thinking that if she can load up the center, she can potentially get her to within the 4 foot, as opposed to worrying at all about the idea of setting up a corner guard, at least in this end.
Little tight. Top 8. Okay, back 4. Okay. Line's holding. Line's holding. Melissa's rock. Where are we, guys? Top 4. Yeah, you gotta go, Melissa. Tilt stop. Go, Melissa. All the way back. All the way back. Go. A little more. Go. Nice throw. Good job. Sorry.
Curls over, but still lies half open. The Laws team will not play around with draws at this stage. They'll just remove that rock. But she wouldn't be unhappy to contact it and roll over and lay in the 12 foot or biting the back.
Throwing 10.5 second hog to hog weight, that's down control for teams like this. She was trying to give it a chance to remain a biter in the 12 foot and just didn't get quite enough of it.
Okay, you got it. Same speed.
So we've got a couple of center guards, one yellow one biting the top of the rings. Catherine Dirksen will try to bury a little bit better than what she did on the previous shot. If she can stop in the front of the 4 foot,
Same weight, little more.
she'll be quite happy.
Room, Jenna, easy, Jenna. Lots of room right now. Whoa. Where? We're deep. Can you go at all? Top, back 4. Yep. Both of you, go. Hard, Melissa. Lean on it, go. I'll cut down the ice, Cat. More sense.
So the sweep there, Barry,
it's a
is to
9-7.
take it deeper so as not to allow a rock a little higher in the forefoot to be struck and with the roll behind the guards.
Exactly. That said, there's room based on the amount the ice is swinging for this throw-in stone by Jill Officer to actually get inside that rock at the back.
And certainly that's the call, but it will be sitting in the back of the forefoot if she does do that. She just makes it past that guard. Very thin, however, and will roll over to the side. And as Beth Peterson stands up, we see that it sits as a biter. So she'll want to minimize damage by playing, hopefully, a nose hit back here, forcing the LAWES team to hit.
And at this point, the LAWES is set up for their deuce.
Clean. Yep. Yep. Gotta go. Hard, you gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Hard, Melissa.
Straight up.
Hard, Melissa. Hard, hard, hard. Hard, hard, hard. Good rushing. 10-1.
And it does stay.
10. Do you have all or are you missing a piece? No, I have all. Okay. I like 10 then.
10-second wait, hog to hog. Nice control weight, very manageable. And most importantly, a speed that brushing can have an effect on, whether holding it straight or trying to make it curl more.
Easy. Clean. Yep. Clean. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
And they're going to come to the nose of that red stone in the back of the rings. Just sit almost exactly right there. The roll behind now is
I don't mind the draw
possible.
now. Can you tap? I don't mind the draw.
This is a nervous time.
Yes.
You don't like that?
Whatever you like.
Use your Jenna.
I don't like this, but.
The person throwing the stone is thinking that this might be the time to try to sink one before Caitlin LAWES does. Her skipper is thinking that she'd like to continue to keep things a little cleaner than that.
Well, I think the Jenna Loader logic is if she can get one even mostly buried behind that center, that one is going to be a catcher if the LAWES team tries to hit it. But she accedes to the wishes of the skip, plays the nose hit on the back of the 8-foot.
Same weight. Try to roll your way a bit, Jill.
So Caitlin is giving Jocelyn Peterman far less ice on this shot, asking for the same weight, expecting it to curl over the face of the stone they're trying to hit and flop ever so slightly behind that guard.
Jill?
Jill is being asked to help it curl.
Hard. Little more, little more, little more.
She's going to get again just about to the nose of it. Does roll away for a biter on the back 12-foot, and now the
Good sweeping, Jill. You got that to curl quite a bit.
Loader is really going to be suggesting they draw. Peterson is thinking hit.
Okay. 10.5.
It seems to me, however, Barry, that the call on these, the hits over here, is the shot not to give up 3.
Yes.
And not the shot to try to score 1.
The aggressive strategy is to try to sink one behind those guards. It's a tougher shot. You could pull a half dozen skips and probably get a 3-3 split on what they do at this stage of the game. Jennifer Jones will be playing the draw.
The key probably in the decision is it's very early in the game. It's 4th end, and even if LAWES scores 2, she's going to get a roll. Will she stay in the ring? She's going to roll to center.
Yep.
Not fully buried, but in fact it is fully buried. The guards are on that side of the center line.
Like that? Yep.
How do we just draw?
because they're drawing no matter what I do, unless I'm open, I guess. But
Yeah. Yeah, if you make it, I think she's got to hit it.
yeah, if I do that and she goes around, I'm kind of screwed.
I guess if you play it with black line.
Play a split.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
I like that.
Just through.
Yep.
Like that's kind of close.
Yep. You got her.
So you heard Caitlin's logic.
Okay.
If they can play back to this red and just tap it, great. But if they happen to overcurl past, once they get past the guard and get a split, they're going to be lying 2 yellows anyway. So it's an either-or situation.
I think if we get to it and roll open, that'd be perfect.
You did hear them say if she hits the red one and rolls back across center, they absolutely believe that Peterson will hit it. Or the way they put it, she has to hit it.
This is the art of the game. This is a very experienced skip who respects the talents of the other skip, giving her the toughest shot possible.
So yellow officer hard on the sweep to get it past that yellow rock, but in fact she is going to get the split that was talked about and does sit. Maybe 2, maybe not. It's camera angle again, difficult to know for sure. And I didn't catch the indication from the player. But one yellow rock does lie wide open in the 8-foot circle, and as Caitlin said, she has to hit it. But the opportunity now to hit and roll across center in behind. And that would force LAWES to a single. So it's Beth Peterson's final shot of the end.
Whoa! 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 Hard, Melissa.
Needs to roll in for sure.
Hard!
Wants to roll across the center, but she's not going to get to the nose of the yellow. She's going to hit, and she will roll off it. She will, in fact, contact the red, probably ensuring that yellow is shot.
I still think it's them, Caitlin. Do you want to have a look? It's close.
So you heard Jocelyn Peterman say, I still think it's them, which means she does believe the red rock at the back, despite having been touched, is shot rock.
Same weight,
Okay.
13.
Or at least they believe it is, and so they'll base their call decision on that assumption. I'll remind you that the draw, tap, thrown on the previous shot by Caitlin LAWES cleared the guard, but overcurled and hit the yellow one to split it in. So this is virtually the same ice, so and the same line down to that backwood.
It's really close, hard to tell.
This is a weight shot, and Caitlin's wanting to throw 13 seconds between the hog lines, which on this sheet means that she's in effect throwing hack weight, just enough to hold the line while at the same time having enough momentum to knock the red stone back the few inches it has to be moved.
Doesn't have to leave the rings, it just has to be moved an inch or so. So we'll see. It's Caitlin LAWES' last shot of the 4th end.
Yep! Yep! Hard! Hard! Keep going, Jill. Keep going. Keep
Comes
going.
to the red guard. It is starting to curl pretty hard, but lots of room past the guard.
Keep going. Keep going.
And she will get to that backstone.
Great sweeping.
Right on the nose of it, pushes it through, and it is a score of 2, giving the LAWES team a score of 5. Lead, a 5-2 lead after 4 completed ends. We'll be back with end number 5 in just a moment.
Thank you for joining us for this Manitoba Championship draw, brought to you by Seagram's VO. Masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
Asham Curling Supply.
Superior fit, comfort, and performance. Asham curling shoes are the best we've ever used.
Hi folks, I'm Arnold Asham, and our product is always satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Asham Curling Supplies.
That's your best delivery of the day.
So we're back. It is the fifth end of our 4 o'clock draw number 3 of the Manitoba Scotties Tournament of Hearts, presented by RME. Caitlin Laws has just made a nice shot past a center line guard, cruises past it, misses it by 2 or 3 inches, taps a shot stone out of the back of the rings. 4 a pair and a 5-2 lead playing here in the fifth end. On the next sheet over, Katie Lukowicz had scored that 2 on the opening end, but gave back 2 singles, so and then followed by a blank. So after 4 completed ends in that match, it is 2-2 Lukowicz and Darcy Robertson. And in our game between Chelsea Carey and Emma Jensen, a pair of 2s for the Carey team, a 2 and a 1 in 2 and 4 for the Jensen team. So Carey with hammer leads that game 4-3.
The objective of the LAWES team is to prevent the Peterson team from scoring more than 1 in this end. The objective of the Peterson team is to score more than 1 in this end. So this is going to be fun. You've got a corner guard and a center rock that can be treated as a guard. Beth Peterson didn't touch it regardless. And now Caitlin's going to try to bury one in a very dark spot behind that Yellowstone biting the 12-foot.
So once again, she goes to the edge of the 8-foot circle. Out-turn draw. We haven't seen as many draws in this side as we had seen on the in-turn side, but Caitlin's experience tells her the curl will be virtually the same, and the draw as it crosses the top of the rings curls another foot after that, peeks out a little bit, but basically buried. And Peterson ignores. She'll throw the in-turn draw down the center line to the wings behind the corner guard.
This early in the end, Peterson already knows that Jenna Loader is going to have to make a couple of runbacks, a couple of doubles to get rid of the yellow congestion in the middle. But she doesn't care about it yet because she's got to try to protect at least one of her rocks out in the wings.
Go, go, go.
Nice curl to the wings, and that rock will just fully bury and bite top 12-foot.
That was just straight slow.
Caitlin now content with a guard.
No, just tight. Yep. Halfway. Weight's good. Line's good. Halfway. Just a little deeper. Clean. Line's good.
Chill, officer.
Yeah. Halfway. Okay. Gotta curl a little bit.
An out turn. She doesn't want this to over curl.
She wants it to land right on the McMahon Yates sign.
Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
The further away from the rocks and the rings, the better. The further away it is, the tougher the run back, which inevitably Peterson might have to try.
She gone?
You can nose, like, get this, or you can rip.
I don't like the rib.
It's pretty high.
Yeah, I like the...
I think one of the things that should be stressed in these conversations between skip and front end, it is often not so much a consultation with the front end as the skip talking through in her to get her own mind around what she wants to happen. I acknowledge that it sometimes is a consultation as well, but I think that those who are irked by these back and forth conversations need to think a bit about it being the skip trying to get settled in their own mind what they're trying to play.
That's right, and this team's been together a long time, relatively speaking. In 2016 and 2017, Jenna and Catherine played with Kathy Overton Clapham, a name well known to our viewers. But from 2018 until now, the Peterson team has been intact as is. So that's a lot of experience and a lot of
It was a bit firm.
debate over how best to approach every strategic and tactical call in the game.
And important to recognize that there's a lot of years of learning how to communicate with each other. So what sounds like a question or what sounds like a I don't like or do you like isn't necessarily, the intent of the message isn't necessarily the exact words of the message.
Exactly.
So she did make the contact to move that rock out from behind that center guard, and now Jill Officer does what Jill Officer does, and that's the big weight hit, attempting to peel off a couple of red stones. In fact, bounces one into near the center line.
Nice throw. Can't see it all now, hey? I like just like bump. Okay, you got it.
And there's a case where the skip knows what shot she wants, what result she wants. The thrower indicating, I feel more comfortable with bumper weight, and the skip adjusting the ice to fit.
Hack! Easy, easy. Hack! Close, clean. Hack! Clean. Jenna. Close. Jenna.
So as it comes across the hog line, it will begin to cut, and they will make contact with that yellow rock. Rolls not as far as they had hoped.
Could do that one too, actually. There it is. All right, 10.
So Caitlin looked initially at playing
I think this should curl.
the top one, the center one,
Go down,
and then he elects to play the hit and roll. 6 of one and half the other, Barry.
Yeah, if this is made perfectly, great. If she doesn't get the roll, Peterson is starting to look as if a deuce is definitely at play.
Whoa! 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 Nice throw, Josh.
Does hit and roll across to the outside edge of the 12-foot. Dead behind the red guard that just sits outside the rings, and they're going to have to play a run back on this one now.
Like that?
I like that.
Or this?
I like the run.
Okay. 9.
This is one of those shots that has to be made.
Well, we'll see. It's General Roeder's shot. It is the intern hit.
Hard! Hard! Hard!
That's good, Jenna.
Very nice.
Not the perfect run back, but certainly got rid of that shot stone and leaves the center guard.
How much do you have it? Almost all. Okay. It's missing a piece. I think hack. Okay. Like solid hack. Try and get to nose.
Try to be like on the 12 side of hack.
Keeping in mind the objectives at the beginning of the end, Caitlin is now trying really hard to force Peterson into taking a single.
Board.
Jill.
What that would mean is Laws would have the hammer back again in 6 and in the remaining even numbered ends, which is exactly what she's trying to do.
This rock did not curl up as desired, but in fact curled up sufficiently little that they got the hit and roll away.
Oh, sinking.
And Peterson will ignore it, try to sink one now in the 4 foot behind the 2 center guards.
Line's really good.
Room right now.
Good Good line.
Line's good. Holding.
Really running.
Wait only. Wait only.
Cat's rock.
Cat's off.
Curling now.
Still gotta go.
Curling big. Go, go, go.
Go cat, go cat, go cat, go. Right cat, go, 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 go. You got it. Go, 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 go. Nice, Donna.
And they do bring it to the top of the forefoot.
Freezing guys just coming around.
It's
Yeah. Yeah, I think with hack it'll come in there. I think so. Once it passes the guard, they can switch. Yep.
So this is where, with the amount of curl on this particular sheet of ice, that fully buried stone, given the fact that it's 20 feet behind the guard, is accessible to Caitlin, and she's making a play on it.
she doesn't have to be just millimeters from the guard. She can be an inch, even 2 inches from the guard is space between, and it will curl over.
You heard her referring to having the brushers switch at the yellow guard out front. What that means is, at the moment they know they're clear, Jill Officer is going to jump in tight to the stone and try to bend it right into the red rock that is the target. So Kristen at the moment is holding it straight.
Clean. Clean, yep.
And
yep,
now
yep. Jill, curl,
here comes Jill.
Curl. Roll it, roll it. Yep.
Well, she doesn't get to the nose of it. She does hit and roll open in the 8-foot circle. So
Sorry, Beth, here.
once again, the third consecutive odd-numbered end, Beth Peterson goes to the hack facing 2, forced to take a single point, or forced to play for a single point.
For those new to the game, when you don't have hammer, the other team getting a 1 is oftentimes the best you can hope for. When you have hammer, you want to get at least 2, and that's exactly what's happened so far in this game.
So final rock of the 5th end, Beth Peterson. She'll throw an out turn.
Lots of line.
Line's good.
She'll throw her final rock in a moment, but for now she'll throw her first rock first.
Lots of room. Line's good. Cat only.
Attempting to
Deep as you can.
make the same draw, trying to bury,
Bury it.
get to the center line behind all those guards. She's going to over curl this time.
Okay. Sorry, Josh.
A little deep, and now Caitlin has the opportunity to draw right to it. And the perfect shot here
Yeah, I like that.
probably creates a steal.
Yeah.
They were caught. If they don't brush it and it stops shorter than it did, Caitlin gets to it in the same way she did the first one. By brushing it, it's behind the tee line, and Caitlin can come right down to it. It was one of those betwixt and between calls for the brushers, and there was no way to win.
No more than split center, just to keep the angle so it can't come off of ours. Yeah, the 5, I think it looks like.
So an interesting little added piece of information. Caitlin saying that we don't want to be on the nose of the red stone. We want to be on the center line side of it, so that Beth can't come off that yellow rock in the 8-foot and make the double kill for 2.
Line's green.
Hard line.
Hard line. Line's good.
Hard line. Right on the tee. Line's good.
15-2. Hard, Kristen.
Right on the tee.
Hard, hard, hard. Hard, you got it, you got it. Good shot, you got
Hard.
it. Nice. Good sweeping.
If I may quote Russ Howard one more time, you could not have walked that one down any better.
Well, the Peterson team has a problem here. They can't get shot rock by playing any kind of a draw unless they go around to the in-turn side, the side they have not played recently. But the way it was diving earlier, it's possible to get to the yellow. Is it possible to get to the yellow with enough weight to tap it back even to score a 2.
Referring again to the new betting programs that everybody's seeing advertised on TV, you would not want to bet on it.
And in fact, no chance whatsoever. She has gone to the out turn to throw it away. And that one perfect draw to the pinhole by Caitlin Laws, well swept by sweepers Kristen McCush and Jill Officer. A steal of 1, and at the mid-game break, the score is now 6-2 for Laws over Peterson. On our other games, Robertson has stolen a 2, leads 4-2 over Lukowicz after 5, and Emma Jensen has stolen a single point in 5, is tied at 4-4. It is 6-2, Laws over Peterson. We'll take the mid-game break and be back with end number 6 in a few moments.
Why not? Just watch. Why not? Keep scrolling, I slide. Why not?
As a broadcaster and Hall of Fame football player, I'm constantly in the lab of life. For 15 years, my friends at Knott Auto Corp have been pioneers as well.
Why not?
Introducing Winnipeg Car Lab, custom car wraps, graphics, and auto services. Winnipeg, why not get in the lab?
It means coming together, helping one another, being there, showing support. That's community. Getting together with your chums you want to curl with.
It's important to volunteer, help out as much as we can.
I love curling.
I love curling.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities, with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made-in-Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Asham Curling Supply.
Superior fit, comfort, and performance. Asham curling shoes are the best we've ever used.
Hi folks, I'm Arnold Asham, and our product is always satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Asham Curling Supplies.
That's your best delivery of the day.
When life gets busy, getting everything done can be tough. With PharmaSafe's mobile prescription service, order your prescriptions right from your phone so they're ready when you are. Download the PharmaSafe app today.
Live well with PharmaSafe.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
So here we are overlooking the East St. Paul Curling Club. A nice hoar frosty morning when that drone flight took place to bring you that beautiful picture. And it is the host venue for Curl Manitoba's 2023 edition of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Equipment. Caitlin LAWES showing the experience of the team jumping out to a 6-2 lead after 5 completed ends. And they throw their first rock in the rings. Barry Gorlick, will we see any change in the approach by Caitlin LAWES with a 4-point lead at this stage?
A 4-point lead with 5 ends to go for Caitlin is a dream. And so she's going to try to keep things as clean as possible, keeping in mind that Beth Peterson is going to want to make things as messy as possible.
Nothing like starting before the time's up.
The big hitting ability of
Like the break?
Jill Officer, for example, is going to come into play with her second rock of each end.
For being in a rush.
Likewise, Jocelyn Petermans. And all Caitlin wants to do is hold Beth Peterson to singles in whichever ends she may have hammer.
And here in the 6th end, Peterson does have hammer. The up 4 or down 4, a 2 is a good score. There's still plenty of time if you can score 2. If you only score a single point with hammer here in the 7th, you're probably not going to win the game. With a 2, you may not win the game, but you still have a chance.
They need a deuce.
Line only. Wait,
So there's 2 yellow rocks in the 4-foot circle. There is a reasonably tight corner guard, and
Go cut.
Melissa Gordon, with her second stone of the end, draws tight to that guard. Into the 8-foot, and back to the tee line. Open a little bit on the outside, but not a shot that is going to be attempted anytime soon, I wouldn't think.
And Resby, at the risk of being cut from our Monday night St. Vital team, would it be all right if I welcomed our skip, Sarah Jane Sass, to the viewership?
Well, I guess.
She also happens to be a 5th player on the McLeod team that started off rather strong today.
Well, they started very strong with a 5 in the 2nd end. It became a very interesting game, and as again, as I said on my Instagram, my Facebook post, there was no quit in the Christy Watling team. They gave up that 5, but after 6 ends, the score was 8-7,
and a total of 20 points scored in the game.
They went hard at it. They did give up a 3 on the 7th end, so that became the margin of victory in the eventual 12-8 score. But it was one of several very interesting games that's taken place already here. What promises to be an incredible weekend of curling entertainment here at East St. Paul.
The intent of that shot was to remove everything, and unfortunately 2 Yellowstones are still in the rings, with the ability of the LAWES team, with Jill Officer and the hack delivering, to add to the congestion once again.
If the 3 were not going to be removed, absolute necessity that the red rocks stay in the rings somewhere. To just remove 1 yellow at the cost of rolling out was not a good result at all.
So there's an example of Caitlin LAWES playing the scoreboard. She lies to. A guard out front is of no use to her at all, can only be used by Beth Peterson, so she removed it. Club players might be awfully tempted to throw another rock into the rings, but Caitlin's playing the scoreboard now.
She simply doesn't need another rock in the rings.
2.5, 3.
Can you stay on it, Jenna?
Line only.
Okay.
Yeah, 2.
Okay.
Just a 2.
Okay, we're gonna overcurl. Stay on it, Jenna.
Just a 2.
Jenna's down.
Yeah.
So the guard attempt, as you heard, does over curl. And now Caitlin will play to remove the rock from the tee line in the 8-foot. Jocelyn Peterman. The instant sweep call suggests it may have been thrown a bit inside. It does contact red. Does a bit of luck for the LAWES team. Go between the two yellows without removing one of them.
Jocelyn would like that throw back, but even at that, that was Jill Officer at her best. Really leaning on the brush and almost got it by the guard.
So she'll throw one more guard with Jenna Loader.
Line's good. Room. Line's good. Where? Okay, Melissa, stay
Has to
low.
curl.
Gotta curl a bit. Yep. Yep, yep. A little more.
Hard, Melissa.
Hard, Melissa. Hard, Melissa. Okay, you're good. Good. Good touch, miss.
And good sweeping on that rock. They do
give her a
bring it
go?
over. They're going to take a run
Or
at
just
the
peel this out.
run back, or maybe they'll just peel it out.
Just peel it out.
A modest amount of risk here. A rub on that red could push it into the Yellowstones. But
Clean.
it will pass by the outside of the red guard and remove the rock from the back.
We've commented on it before, but this sheet of ice is just beautiful. With upweight, the rocks are tracking perfectly, no falls,
That's okay.
nothing's jumping. And at
Yeah,
least
that one just looked like a
from our
sugar
vantage
tight
point,
and
Resby,
kept-
it makes the
kept on
game
that
look
line.
fairly easy.
It really is a very simple game played at the elite level by the best players. All they do is make each shot each time. It's the miss that costs you the game.
We're going to have to try that one year.
Jenna Loader with her out-turn draw, she'll now come to the center, try to get to the face of the rock in the 4-foot.
Right now.
Line's really good. Hard, Melissa.
Hard, guys.
Hard, hard, hard. Go, go, go.
This rock
Wow.
needs to be in the
Did that
rings,
pick?
but comes up short. Changes the tone of the end completely.
In one stone, we've shifted from the potential of a multiple score to the potential of no score for the Peterson team.
I think they have to worry now about Caitlin LAWES stealing another point. Caitlin is definitely senses the opportunity to force the play.
It's a hair less ice than I was giving you guys.
She'll go to the top of the 4-foot, half buried.
I'd like to be like half open, like basically bite center and bite center, bite button.
How's that for
Yeah.
precision? She's specifying a target that is about 4 inches in diameter on either side.
And there's an interesting difference in the wording. I used the wording half buried, and she used the wording half open.
She wants to tempt a play on the rock she's delivering now, while at the same time protecting it halfway. It's a perfect description of what she's trying to accomplish here.
Has to curl. Bite the button. Kristen, bite the button. Line's getting good. Still has to curl a bit. Bite the button.
Didn't curl quite as much as she had suggested. Wanted to be half open. She is virtually all
Oh, I
open
see.
past that guard,
Leave yourself a
but she
pocket.
does lie to.
Or just rip it.
Yeah, you might roll there. And yeah, you got it.
And now all of a sudden the Peterson team is sort of bailing out. They've got nothing to do but hit this rock. They're hoping to keep their shooter in play and kill a couple of yellows.
At worst, as you heard Beth say on the glide back to the hack, to give herself some kind of a shot for one. She's hoping to stay around, so she's not throwing this very hard. She's throwing 9.5, which is just up control for this team.
There is separation between the two yellows, so if there's some angle on it, the top rock is going to roll certainly to the 8-foot, maybe a little further.
What are you playing?
So best pick it out, barely push it out of the rings, and now Caitlin Laws very much has a kill opportunity here with a very well placed shot.
That's a similar line. I was just outside the edge of that.
If our viewers heard a slamming sound not visible on the screen, that was the skip, Beth Peterson, unhappy with her throw that time, whacking her brush on the ice.
A little bit of a slap. Pretty gentle in the context of old-time slaps that we broom banging that we are have known of.
Have you checked the price of brooms or brushes lately,
Exactly.
Resby? You can't afford to break one.
So it is Caitlin Laws, and this time she does want to be a little more tucked on the center line.
Okay, I thought I kicked bigger. I didn't add as much though. Same line. Room. Line's good. Curling more. Really curling. Bite the button on this line. Okay, whoa. Go over curling.
So she does come just short of biting the button. There is a gap there, an opportunity for Beth Peterson to draw to the rock on the button. 2 feet of space between the two yellow rocks.
Throwing her in turn, she can get there, and even the slight stagger of the two rocks above the tee line gives her an extra gap.
Just like back 4, back 8, yeah. I think just because you're navigating that.
This is a big shot, though. This shot has to be made.
So we've come to the final stone here in this end. Once again facing 3 with her final stone. Beth Peterson has to save the end with a draw between 2 rocks.
Line's good.
Top edge of the button. And try to get to
Whoa.
the rock, the back of the button.
Running. Melissa's rock.
She's staying wide at this moment in time,
play
not
it off
getting
this side. Cat,
not
whoa,
getting the draw
whoa.
she wants.
Melissa,
in fact,
bit,
she's
yep.
going to get to the
Yep.
nose, maybe get a little
Hard.
inside roll,
Roll it.
but will not. Gives up a steal of 2 more, and the score goes to 8-2 after 6 completed ends.
Yeah. That was 6-10. What? That was 6-10.
So little concept.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSave. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/CurlManitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Back in the East St. Paul Arena, at the end of that end, the Peterson team disappointed. Their rock didn't curl up. They end up crashing on a guard, or not a guard, it was a rock in the 8-foot circle, but effectively a guard, and give up a steal of 2 with the score now sitting at 8-2. A bit of consultation between the members of the Peterson team. Is there any point in continuing? Do the rules allow us to concede at this point? And the answer to the second question, yes, the rules do allow you to concede. 5 ends complete is the requirement in the early stages, at least, of the competition. Is there any point in continuing? They've concluded there is, and we won't necessarily know the reason. Maybe something that they want to work on, maybe just need to get a little confidence from scoring a point before they concede.
First day of a bonspiel is important as this. We spoke this morning about the art of the game of curling. At minimum, they're going to continue their learning about the ice conditions, about the way in which this sheet B plays. They have a 5-game pool play round robin in effect. This is only their second game. They'll inevitably be back on sheet B again, and ideally in the championship final on Sunday on this sheet. So why not get to know it even better?
Nice throw, Kristen. Same thing. Yeah.
So Barry, there's an indication that the tick shot can be played on a rock not on the center line. It can be promoted into the rings. The rock on the center line cannot be promoted into the rings. But something interesting there, Barry, coming from Caitlin Law's mixed doubles experience. No one in their, frankly, right mind when the tick shot was first visualized. No one would have ever thought of playing the outside of a rock on a corner guard and driving it back. You know, obviously the ultimate objective is to push it out of the rings into the still in play area behind the house, but pushing that rock way deep is a mixed double shot used to counter the power play, is it not? You being a mixed doubles player.
Or a mixed doubles attempting player. You're looking at an Olympic gold medalist in mixed doubles. She brings that entire skill set to the 4-person game. And Resby, you're absolutely right. That shot didn't exist before mixed doubles. Nobody had probably actually thought it made any sense. In the mixed doubles game, it makes sense all of the time.
And I will confess that while I've got a bit of a fountain of useless information in my mind about curling, I don't know who it was that innovated that particular tick shot. We know that Steve Gould from Jeff Stoughton's team gets much of the credit for the innovation of the actual tick shot.
Yes, and that was perfected in the women's game by Team Holman, and specifically their lead at the time, Lisa Weigel, and the shot actually both within the men's and women's club circuit for sure, and even on the pro circuit, and through commentators at least as esteemed as the one sitting beside me, came to call it the Weigel.
It's interesting. You do see attempts at the tick shot in club games, made just often enough to encourage club level teams to try it again. But it is a pretty high frequency shot played by the curlers of this level. A pretty high frequency success shot, I meant.
So successful, in fact, that the no-tick rule at the October World Congress of the World Curling Federation, supported by its associate members, of which Canada is one, have implemented this rule for the men's and women's game at the World Championships. And this is just a test, but it's a test, I think, that is going to be here to stay, because the whole objective of the rule is to increase scoring and to take away some of the effectiveness of having the hammer.
A couple of yellow stones behind the tee line. Jill Officer, bang, bang, bang. And that is the shot that Barry Gorlick was talking about earlier. Jill Officer's ability to throw that upweight hit.
Tomorrow in the Winnipeg Sun and Winnipeg Free Press, there will be no headline, Jill Officer looked rusty.
Yeah, that was back line.
Not too many women who are currently on the circuit, let alone those who come out of the bullpen to fill in for Selena Negrin, can throw upweight like that accurately, that often.
T-line. Line only. Gotta go. Line straight. Hard, Jenna. Hard, Jenna, hard.
So the draw needs to get past this yellow stone in the top of the 8-foot. Does not. Just that huge swing curl once it gets to the hog line. And it sits wide open on the button.
I like 9.5. Just make sure.
Caitlin Laws with a comfortable 8-2 lead, playing the 7th end.
Clean. Yep.
Eyes second and third shot stones.
Yep.
Jocelyn Peterman making the out-turn hit up the center line. They will be lying 3.
Good. Good, sweet. 9, 7, 9, 8. It's good. Freeze and then hit. Yeah, either one. I think you gotta hit something. What do you like? I like that. 10-5. Sorry? 10-5.
So it's Jenna Loader's turn. She'll follow the out-turn hit. She wants to just come across the center line, make enough contact to roll to the tee line in the 4-foot circle, be situated in between the 2 yellow stones, but she's going to roll a little too far over to the edge of the 12-foot.
Same weight, like.
Jocelyn Peterman now.
Whoa. Jill. Sorry, Joss. Nice throw.
She hits and rolls away. Probably wanted to hit and roll away. Didn't need another rock in the back of the rings.
Okay. That's back 8, right? Okay.
With the final third stone from Jenna Loader, again, the one shot in the end that simply has to be made. She's coming down to the yellow stone behind the 4-foot. She has to weld this one on. Otherwise, the possibility of any kind of a multiple score here is going to disappear.
Diving towards the center line as it crosses the hog line. You need the hard sweep to get it past that yellow stone in the 8-foot and do just that, get back into the back of the 4-foot circle. An excellent shot.
That's where it was? Like it doesn't seem like that's rock slow a bit? Just whip that or just try and what was that? 14-8? Yeah, that was around there.
She's probably a foot deeper than she wanted to be, Barry, but an excellent shot.
Even if I'm here and leave the double,
It's got Caitlin thinking. She'd like to chip it out, but standing behind it, it's fully buried. Thinking so much, in fact, that they're going to take a timeout and really discuss the best option.
Yeah. This is probably...
There's Selena Negevin.
Yeah.
I think right two is probably the best.
Yeah.
I'm just scared if we like run that and then
Lose all of ours. Yeah.
And we could lose the 3 and this, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what the tolerance is. Probably short.
I think if you're anywhere like in the forefoot.
Yeah.
In that line.
And she can make that, and then we just hit the open one, and 2's fine. Yeah. Okay. So try and go to it, but there's okay. I had a 15 on that.
You heard Caitlin
Yeah,
refer to
I think
tolerance. After the decision was taken to try to come right down to the red rock.
Even if I'm a hair edge to
They
edge,
don't
there's
miss
just a little
outright, but sometimes they don't make the perfect shot. The pro miss, therefore, in this case, is to be just a little bit short, to make it awfully difficult to cleanly remove the rock she's about to throw, given the amount of
Kinda what
clutter
I've
in
been
behind the tee
throwing.
line.
I had a 15 on hers, and they swept it to the back four, so.
So we'll see. It is Caitlin's first stone of this 7th end. Wants to follow the red, wants to be to the tee line on the center line side of the red in the back of the 4-foot circle. Top of the 4-foot on that line is fine.
Expecting almost exactly 6 feet of curl, the 4 feet to the right side of the center line, and the 2 feet that her target rock is to the left of the center line.
Yeah, you can go. You can go.
So it begins to curl as it approaches the hog line. It'll dive from here about 2 feet outside that center line. And she does make exactly the shot she wants, biting the button on the tee line, angled on the red stone, leaving Peterson nothing but a run on the yellow. Yellow onto yellow, try to remove them both. She may end up with a guard on the red stone. So it's Beth Peterson. Her out-turn hit is underway. She wants nose hit on the yellow. The top of the 8-foot circle to push it back to kill the Yellowstone just thrown on the 4-foot by Caitlin Laws. She's going to over curl. She's going to run it past, tick her own red.
Hit everything in play, okay.
Leaves red stones lying 2, 3, and 4.
Sorry, just a little more.
But the earlier shot thrown by Caitlin Laws was not touched, remains on the tee line, biting the 4-foot, or biting the button. And as we wait for Caitlin to make this call, we just look across the way to the game between Emma Jensen and Chelsea Carey. Carey leads 5-4, playing the same 7th end. There are 15 rocks in play. There are 2 red, 2 yellow in the 4-foot. 3 red, 3 yellow in the 12 and 8-foot, 2 red, 3 yellow in front of the rings, and the red last stone is being thrown away quite logically because there was just nothing to do. Red has scored a single point, and that game goes to 5-5 after 7 ends.
Every rock in play. It could be one of our Masters League games.
So here we go. Caitlin Laws.
She's playing the double.
She'll just want to cross this red stone a little bit, angle it back to pick the one off the back of the 4-foot as well.
Clean. Oh, oh, oh. Clean. Yep, yep. Hard. Hard.
to the hog line.
Hard on red.
Going to leave Peterson a shot for a 3.
Wow.
The red rock in the forefoot. The red rock over to the right-hand side
Oh, you shouldn't.
is second shot.
Yeah. 10 and a half? Okay, you got it, Beth.
And an in-turn hit, just needs to roll a little bit center side for a 3.
You can straight jam it onto the red and you'll be third still.
Look at the other game in play, the Lukowicz-Robertson game. That game started so positively for the Lukowicz team, scoring a deuce on the opening end, but they haven't scored since. They've given up 3 singles and a double along with some blanks, and that score is at 5-2, now playing the 8th end. So here we go. It is the Peterson last stone hit. She's got to curl up to and across the center line. Sweeping to get it across to the yellow, but in fact she's just going to tick it. She's going to kill her own stone. She's going to give up a steal of 1, and now no question the game will be conceded with a final score of 9-2 for Caitlin Laws, whose record improves to 2 wins, no losses. The Peterson team record at the end of 7 and the game over, 1 win, 1 loss. That's been our afternoon game from the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, presented by Rocky Mountain Equipment at the East St. Paul Arena. We will be back this evening with a game between the Jennifer Jones, Mackenzie Zacharias team and Christy Watling. Please plan to join us then.
Today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities, with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made in Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Thank you for joining us for this Manitoba Championship draw, brought to you by Seagram's VO. Masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian. You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community, and can do it from any age.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Curling, brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities, with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made in Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
When life gets busy, getting everything done can be tough. With PharmaSafe's mobile prescription service, order your prescriptions right from your phone so they're ready when you are. Download the PharmaSafe app today.
Live well with PharmaSafe.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Today's sponsor, Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now, 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.